time for the shop report with
Barbershop Jay.
What up, sports fans? Welcome to the Shop Report. I'm Barbershop Jay. I'll be your host for the day. Here's what's happening. If you're up and around, you're out and about, and you want to give us a shout, that number to call is area code 267-687-0026. Once again, that number to call is area code 267-687-0026. Joining me on the program today is none other than my cat from the NYC, a.k.a. Rucker Park, Richard Stefanski, CEO, COO of the Rented Mule Riders Association. My cat, my friend, my homie, Brother Rich. What's happening?
Brother, it's always an honor and a pleasure and a privilege. And in spite of the fact that you are a lifelong Dallas Cowboys fan, a member of the Jerry Jones Inner Circle, I'm always overjoyed to be on this platform with you in spite of all of that.
Really? You put this, I mean, did you lay it out there thick enough? I'm so glad I'm wearing boots in the house. And on the other side of the ledger, we got my man from up north. That's NORF for all you late spellers. Joey James, a.k.a. Double J. Tell the people what you say.
I am Mark Safe from the Barbershop J virus.
Really? Oh, and that's funny. That's funny to you, huh, Brother Rich? Really? This how we starting off today? This is how we're gonna start off today, right? You Mark Safe from the virus. Okay. Well, be Mark Safe.
That's as good an introduction as any.
Yeah, well, be Mark Safe from these knuckles, because you're about to get a knuckle sandwich. Double J, would you tell us right quick? I saw in the Facebook thread that you're running for some sort of office position or some sort of political position. Would you care to expound on that?
Yeah, so this November, I live in Kent Township in Michigan, so not to be confused with Ohio.
I don't think anybody would do that.
I decided that I'm going to dip my toe. I decided to dip my toe in the political shark tank. I want to see some change locally, and of course, the best way to do that is to grab the bull by the horns and try to get it done yourself. Of course, nothing's ever accomplished alone. So this upcoming November, if you're in, Wayne County in Michigan, you'll see my name on the ballot for township trustee.
Oh, happy congratulations! And guess what? If we could,
Congratulations.
Can we vote here in Ohio for you?
Maybe in the future. We'll see what the future holds.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what, I'm voting. I'll give you my vote now. That way you can save it. All right, you can put it in the bank. No, I'll give you a vote to no. And then speaking of which, you just mentioned something to the effect. Yeah, you just said something about no one can do it by themselves. There's a certain portion of the country that swears up and down that LeBron James did it all by himself. I mean, I know we're not on that. That's not a topic for today, but, he led bums. But it's interesting that they didn't become bums until after he lost the finals. But on the way to the finals, but anyway, yeah, you get my drift. Oh, and we got another caller here, another guest. Oh, I think it's my dude from the CO Alum Bus. Is this D. Gully?
Yes, it is. How you guys doing this evening? I'm thankful I'm back with you guys and ready to. Absolutely. So, tell me, did Barbershop tell you about his meeting with Dak?
Oh, wow.
No, he hasn't told us this part.
Oh, wow.
Please inform.
Wow. Yeah, no, because hey. Hold it. Before you go down this soliloquy of lies, Brother Rich, Double J, I too myself, this is the first time I'm hearing it too. So, yeah, I want to hear this.
Well, I'm just saying, that deal is coming. You were able to help Jerry Jones see and realize the true treasure he has, and I just want to thank you on behalf of Cowboys Nation. Since you're an avid fan, thank you for getting that done.
Well, too bad I couldn't help the Browns from drafting Corey Coleman before they knew they drafted him and he couldn't run routes, but they was drafting him as a wide receiver. Excuse me, sorry about that. Too bad for that. My grandfather, rest in peace, would have been nice and happy about that. But anyway, can we get to the topics now for today, or do you all still want to go to Disneyland. I mean, hey, you just won the Super Bowl. Where are you going? I'm going to the commode. Are we good? Okay, right. This first entree up for the day is none other than my man, my dude, quarterback for the XFL's Houston Roughnecks. Now. We've had some discussion about the XFL here a couple weeks back, right? And I got to admit, the first game I tuned into happened to be the Houston Roughnecks and the LA, I don't know, what are they? Doggone it. They're not the Dragons, no. What's the LA team? The Wildcats? Say that again, Double J. Are they the Wild?
That was Gully. However, it is, to answer your question, you are correct. It is the Wildcats.
Okay, it's the Houston Wildcats. Okay. No, did I say the Houston Wildcats? Yeah, no, not
LA.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, the LA Wildcats.
LA Wildcats.
Yeah, okay, LA Wildcats. But anyway, that was the first game I tuned into. Now, let's revisit, or let's take a little side note here right quick. Let's go back a bit, if you would. Vince McMahon, 2001, this is Vince McMahon's baby, actually, the XFL. And unfortunately, it failed after one season due to, did you all see the 30 for 30, by the way? Did you see the 30 for 30, Double J?
I did.
Yeah, Gully. You know how that all kind of fell apart, don't you?
No, please refresh.
Yeah.
Because inquirer minds do want to know.
Yeah, it kind of all kind of lightweight fell apart by the first week of the season or something or another, if I'm recalling this correctly. The games, it was a lot of hype and a lot of fanfare and a lot of build-up, of course. And, I think they got over like 1 million viewers or something or another. I mean, it was a lot the first week. But the games were poorly played. You get what I'm saying? So, of course, folks, was giving it a thumbs down. So they knew that the following week, of course, they had to, ramp it up a bit. And I forget who the two teams were, but they were going at it. And, they had a power outage. The screens, the TV, everything, everybody, everywhere, everything went black. They were using generators to power, I don't know, all of the equipment that they used to, to get a broadcast going. But that was, the generators were being used to power get the power up for the broadcast. And somebody had forgot to put gas in the generators. Can you believe that? Can you believe that? No? Yes.
Oh, man. You had one job.
Yeah, exactly.
One job.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, God.
Exactly, yeah. But anyway, fast forward. This new rendition of the XFL, I believe, is here to stay. But I'll ask you all right quick, Double J, you think it's here to stay?
I do at this point. Again, I think the league, so to your, going apples to apples, then versus now, they learned. They learned, and as we continue to kind of monitor the NFL and the CBA and, how things will be done moving forward there, I think regardless of how the chips fall, the XFL will benefit in some capacity from it. So moving forward, absolutely. Right now, they have a sustainable product. They have the right media partnership to make sure that they're having, that they stay in front of us.
What?
And in a non-invasive way, I suppose, where it's not being forced on us, but they've done a very good job this time around in making sure that, it's not out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah. What about you, Gully? Hello, you there?
Sorry
come
about
on,
that.
come on. Yeah, come on,
sorry
man.
about that. Technical difficulties.
Okay.
I hope it is. I guess my biggest point of contention, because I'm rooting for it, is that I think the viewing public those who like professional sports or those who have a disdain for how the NCAA treats its players and how the NFL treats its players have a viable alternative in the XFL as a product, but I think will generally stay away because it isn't the college league or it isn't truly the pros. And it's sort of, I think fan-wise, I hope people aren't hypocritical enough to stay away from the XFL because of the fact that it's not what they're used to. And that's the only thing that I fear that will happen to this league, because it actually is presenting a refreshing take on a standard, on America's pastime, being football. So I hope it does stay, but I still cautiously optimistic.
Okay, sounds good to me. We got another caller on the line, my man DJ Jew from Funky Fresh Productions. Is that you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Barbershop J, what's going on with it?
Yes, sir. Yes, indeed. You know Gully, and, of course, my man Double J, and Brother Rich, of course. You know what I mean? I got my man
Yes,
DJ.
sir.
Yeah, my man DJ Jew on the line with us. You know what I mean? I don't get to holler at him as often as we used to. We used to holler every day. But this dude right here, if you ever need DJing services, a good DJ, and it don't matter where. Jew, why we at it right quick? How far have you traveled to DJ a set?
I went out to the West Coast, Washington, Seattle, Washington.
Okay.
That's the farthest west. But east, I went to D.C.
Okay, so brother.
Yeah, that's the farthest east I went.
Okay, so brother Rich, you hear that, right? You know what I'm saying? The next time you having a bar,
Absolutely.
yeah, your next bar mitzvah, my man DJ Jew got you covered.
You been out to Dallas with Jay too?
Jew, don't.
Nah,
Did you go out to Dallas with him? Yeah, okay. All right. Oh, you didn't go. You ain't bring
Jew,
all
don't.
that damn cowboy money and won't bring you, get you some of that cowboy money. That's wrong.
Don't buy into this, Jew. Every week we go through this. Man. Double J and Brother Rich done got it made up in their minds. See, they Browns fans. So in order to assuage the guilt of their fandom for the Browns and the ineptitude of the front office, they like to jump on me and pass it off. Deflect is what we call it in the industry. You know what I'm saying? You know I'm a licensed therapist too. I mean, I got my license out a cereal box, you know what I'm saying, baby? But still, that's all you need nowadays, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? When you're passing through the airport, all you got to do is flash it real quick. Bam, Tony the Tiger, baby, Tony. You know what I mean? You look like you having troubles at home. You want to holler at your boy, that type of deal. But anyway, yeah, so I've been counseling them on the side, man. Little side hustle or something, $3.99, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah, and they lightweight salty because two of them still owe me $1.17. But anyway, back to the topics at hand. My man P.J. Walker is a dynamo for the Houston Roughnecks of the XFL. All right? And we already mentioned he's the quarterback. I got a few things I want to point out to y'all today about this man and really ask the question, is he NFL bound? From my understanding, the Seattle Seahawks, he's done so well in the XFL that the Seattle Seahawks are said to be taking a look at him as a possibility or possible backup, to my man Russell Wilson. So check this out. Currently, he leads the XFL, Brother Richard. That's not necessary. You coughing over there? You good? You need some Lysol? Who's coughing?
That's not me, sir. That's not.
Oh, okay. Who needs some Lysol?
That's me. I'm back.
Oh, it's all good because I can send you a T-shirt. I send you a T-shirt and some Lysol. I'm just saying, baby. It's a scary thing going on around here nowadays. Yeah, but he leaves the exit.
Barbershop J virus.
Really, Double J? You just had to come back with that, huh? I got two words for you: broken record. He leads the XFL in touchdown passes, 15 currently. No other quarterback, all right, has more than 7. And yards, and since Double J is the numbers guy, he's our numbers guy. Gully is too. 1,338 passing yards. No other quarterback has more than 876. And this is all while being sacked third most in the league. As I mentioned, he could be.
Point this out as well.
Go ahead. Of course. As always. Of course. Add. Just add.
Because especially in the NFL, they pay attention specifically with quarterbacks to what's known as, your QBR. And
well, hold it, Double J. Hold it. Hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second.
All right.
No. I'm glad you brought that up. Why, in your estimation, is the QBR so heavily, relied upon? Why does it carry so much weight? And I'll say this, I'll laugh. If you can't laugh at yourself, ain't got no business laughing at all, right? Tony Romo, once upon a time, was given, I won't say unjust or undue credit, maybe for lack of a better word or term, for his QBR rating. But it failed to justify itself in the playoffs. So, again, please tell us, why, in your estimation, do you think the QBR is why do the NFL bigwigs point to that? Why is that so important?
Well, because in essence, it's meant to capture what's taking place, the decision-making and the result.
Okay.
So not, again, everything from there's a discount on it from, things like garbage time. If you think of Matt Stafford, one of the biggest, critiques of him is that most of his stats, they call him Stat Padford, because his
that's
numbers
disrespectful.
Come late game. I didn't say it was mine.
I know it's not you. I know it's not you. It's them other folks in Michigan, them fake fans. But go ahead.
Absolutely. So, in essence, it's meant to, be the one-liner, your elevator pitch. This is who I am as a player, and what you can expect with me leading, your team out on the field. And what, again, if you think of a football team, that is your general. So if he's,
right,
and
generally your leader
to the slaughter. Absolutely.
Yeah.
To hear that he has a number that high, I believe he only trails one other player, but nevertheless, that speaks volumes.
Yeah, indeed. But I also want to mention that he has some NFL, I don't want to say experience. I guess I could say experience, ever so slightly. But before we even go, because Andrew Luck, former Colts signal caller Andrew Luck, did this guy, PJ, a favor. And I commend Andrew for doing this because he didn't have to, all right? Just actually goes to show you what type of dude Andrew Luck is outside of just, sitting at home and watching him, at Stanford and with the Colts and so on and so forth. At Temple, two things stood out to me with PJ. Number one, I didn't know that he played for Temple. I can't even say number one. I'm just saying that. I didn't know he played for Temple. Number one, he played all 4 years, right? Do you know in 4 seasons or 4 years at Temple or whatnot, he amassed over 10,000 passing yards? Now, that seems like a good number for a quarterback, all right? He played in the American Conference or whatnot, but 10,000, that's a lot to me. Now, I don't know. Is that a lot, Double J? Gully, somebody, is that a lot? Or am I missing something here? Or am I right here? Oh, okay.
No, I would agree with you.
Okay, good deal then. In his senior season, do you know he passed for over 3,200 yards alone? It's some NFL quarterbacks ain't doing that. Now, I know that, of course, it's not the American Conference, but still, that's kind of, that's kind of eyebrow raising there. If for 3,200 yards, I don't even. There's a lot of college quarterbacks doing that. Well, maybe now, maybe the kid from Clemson. I can't think his name. And maybe the kid Herbert from Oregon. Maybe I don't know the numbers on them guys, but even still, 3,200 yards is impressive for a season in any league, right? Okay, so let's get to this favor that Andrew Luck did for him. The title of this article or what have you says how Andrew Luck helped P.J. Walker get an XFL job. All right. Okay. So yeah, Walker spent the better parts of 2017 through 2019 on and off the Indianapolis Colts practice squad. Andrew Luck called his dad, who, by the way, and I didn't notice until I read this, is the XFL commissioner, Oliver Luck. And now that name pops up, didn't Oliver Luck play for the Oilers?
Yes, he did.
Didn't he? Yeah, that's what I thought. He played for the Oilers. Yeah. Okay. So Oliver Luck is the XFL
You
commissioner.
know those Texas teams, don't you?
see what I'm saying, Jew? See what I'm saying, Jew? Jew, are you in the market for a co-host position? Because this guy right here, he about to get his walking papers, man, today. You know what I'm saying? He got to get them today. You know what I'm saying? I can't even get a 5-minute respite, man. You know what I mean? I can't even get my bunny slippers on. He like, hey, Jerry, how you doing over there, buddy? You know what I'm saying? You clipping your toenails this week? You know, that kind of stuff, man. Oh, and by the way, 5 seconds off sports, just a FYI. I wish one of y'all, somebody would have told me that you're supposed to clip your toenails after you get out the shower and not before. All right? Yeah, you know, because I was all sitting in a chair with the bend down game, chin on the knee. You know, I was going to work with the boy. You know what I'm saying? Bing, bing. Had all 32 toes, but the 33rd toe was giving me problems, so I get to working with him. And he came off incorrectly, caught me in the eye. Yeah, I was at urgent care, baby. It's not good. It's not good. But anyway, Drew, don't do that, man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, baby, you got to watch out. Be flying shrapnel, baby. The XFL, Luck called his father and told him, he said, look, man, Walker deserves a shot. So the XFL offered Walker a contract and, of course, allocated him to the Houston Roughnecks. Through the first 2 weeks, he threw 7 touchdowns. 7 touchdowns passes, okay? I think I watched 30 of them. Okay, 7, but it just looked like that. It seemed like every time I looked up, he was throwing a touchdown to somebody. You know what I mean? And then I told you the very first time we talked about this, the guy he threw the touchdown that I saw that made me sit up in my seat was Holly. I think the guy's last name is Holly. Yeah, I think his last name is Holly. But that receiver, you know, they did the little sideline reporting thing, you know, talking to him after he had scored or whatnot. And in that sideline conversation, it came out that the guy had broke his back and had 2 knee surgeries, major, but he was still there. And Drew, right quick, as a former, you played football in high school, right?
Yeah.
Brother Rich, when the leather helmet days don't count. You know what I'm saying? Them wasn't even real knee pads, man. Go ahead on with that. Drew.
So that's how they do it in Dallas?
No, I don't know. I don't know how they do it in Dallas. You know what I'm saying? I know how they do it out in L.A. Oh, and by the way, that new logo is trash. It looked terrible. Who designed that? You did, Brother Rich? Who designed the L.A. Chargers?
I think that's.
You can't say nothing about Dallas because that's California. See what I'm saying? He just want to blame it on Dallas.
No
but
comment,
no comment. That's what you should have said. Drew, you played football in high school.
You told me I can't say Dallas. So that's where I heard it came from, Dallas.
How could it come from Dallas and it say L.A.?
Firm in Dallas.
You know what, man? Meanwhile, back at the Ranchero, Drew, you played football in high school, man. And we had Herm on the program a couple times. You know, to talk about the rigors and the perils of playing such a violent sport, man. And I think one time you and I were talking, you talked about when you hurt your ankle. Why don't you give us a little brief breakdown, man, on what it was like back then and what happened to your ankle and so on and so forth. Because we stressing the point about how violent the game is and why, you know, you see all of this, especially the stuff that's going on with the current CBA. You know, now it looks like DeMar Smith done turned lightweight turncoat. And the players now turning on him because he looked like he working for the other side when he's supposed to be representing them. But anyway, yeah, Drew, give us a rundown, man, on what it's like from your vantage point, man, of playing the game at a high school level.
High school levels for me, I mean, mainly technique. You know what I'm saying? We practiced technique and we had a bunch of drills and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But from our facility wasn't up to par. That's where it was, you know, messed up for us.
Oh, got
me,
you.
Rather, you know what I'm saying?
And
other than that, it's pretty much the same. As long as you know technique, don't let your man. It's almost, you know what, Jay? It's like playing defense in basketball. You know, what I'm saying? Once you go on the tackle, you know,
you can't relate
want
to
be
that.
square.
You can't relate to defense. You should use a better example. Defense and basketball.
Jew, why we got you on the line right here, right now, okay? Would you please tell the people What was my nickname up at Wood Hill?
We call it Jay West Coast.
Okay. What?
I thought it was
Gunner Mac Jones.
Gully. Oh, Gully, you laughing? You laughing too? This is fun. You know I know your mama. Okay, don't make me call her and tell her how you acting on this program right now today. Silence.
Hey, I am taking the fifth on this one.
Yeah, please take the fence. Matter of fact, hop over the fence.
or laughing on mute.
Yeah. Oh, right. Got you. Anyway, Jew, would you finish, please? Brother Rich, can I have my moment, please? Okay, let me get my 15 minutes. Go ahead, Jew. Finish. You were saying?
Okay, yeah. We call Jay West Coast. Jay had the game that down. He get it. We pushing it. Made basket. Rebound. We just gonna push the tempo. We're gonna run them off the gym.
Thank you.
We're gonna run them off the court.
Thank you. Thank you. I got two naysayers over here.
Makes perfect sense. Dallas is west of Cleveland. Makes perfect sense.
No, it's not. No, it's not. See what I'm saying? See, Brother Rich, you don't know when to quit. You just don't know when to quit. Dallas is not west of Cleveland. You must be thinking about San Antonio and them bigums down there, like Charles Barkley be saying. But anyway, Drew, I think you had told me too one time tell me about when you messed your ankle up, man. How long it took? You said I think to this day your ankle still bothers you some. And how long ago was that? Not to say you was in high school when Brother Rich was with Abraham Lincoln or nothing, but
that was.
you know what I'm saying, Drew? He sat next to George Washington. You know what I'm talking about? The British are coming. The British are coming. They were like, man, would you sit down and take the test? No talking. Well, go ahead, Drew. My bad, man. I go through this every week with these dudes.
All right. I was I think I was blocking, and the tackle stepped on my ankle, and like I said, it was really they for us. They didn't care. You hurt, you got to get back in there. They ain't sitting out 2-3 weeks and nothing like that.
Oh.
They going to put you out there. If you're good enough, if you're not that good, sit out, 2, 3, whatever, 4 games.
Yeah.
If you good enough and they need you, you going back out there. They're going to ask you a bunch of questions, tape it up, ice it up. Don't tell your parents because they don't want to. Something like that. I don't want to tell your parents and nothing like that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because if your parents know, your parents like, you ain't playing. Right.
Exactly.
Got you.
Yeah, sit him out, they're going to cautious, you know what I'm saying? But, and then you want to play because you want to help your teammates out, your buddies out, you know what I'm saying? I'm the type of person, you know how I am, Jay.
Yep.
I'm all about winning, but, you know what I'm saying? If we getting beat down and I can do something, you know what I'm saying? I can't just sit up there and just, if I can go a little bit. If I can't go, I just can't go.
Right.
To the end and stuff like that.
Right. The heart of a champion.
Well, at least he tries. Our host here, claims he has bunions and sits out.
Double J, how dare you? How dare you? Yeah, you about to get some of this West Coast action. That's what you're going to. Wait till I come up to Michigan. I'm going to run y'all up and down the gym, even with 2 bad knees. The point I was trying to make in having this young man mention all of this was, right quick, now I'm just trying to shed some light, as much light as possible on why players at the NFL level, because this was at the high school level. And Jude, if I'm not mistaken, didn't you fracture your ankle?
No, I didn't fracture it. I just sprung it. It was okay.
It was okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought you had fractured it. But even at the NFL level, to hear people talk about, once again, that these guys are not worth whatever they asking for, and so on and so forth. Man, come on, man. You hear what the man said at the high school level? Don't tell your parents. Because guess what? We don't really care about you. That's my point. And you don't think that grows exponentially each level you go to? Yeah, I'm turning down whatever y'all, because I think I'm worth more than that. If at the high school level, they told this dude, don't tell your parents. These are kids, basically. So what's more important? But we mad at the players? But anyway, yeah, get yours, whoever the player is. Get yours. Get all of them, matter of fact, at the end of the day. Yeah, Joe, I appreciate you, weighing in on that, man. Because like I said, we had Herm on the program a couple of times, and he's an adult. He played at the NFL level or whatnot. But I wanted to, I wanted to take it down a few and just let folk know you're a competitor, but it's folks who in charge, you know what I'm saying, that should know better. You understand what I'm saying? And they should be saying, oh, no, man, this. But no, they don't care nothing about you. You could have went out there, God forbid, and broke a leg or something. They'd be like, hey, man, you can't go. And then, they try to use that psychological reverse psychology or whatever. Oh, man, if you was tough, then you be out there. Man, save it. This ain't you. You know what I mean? I got to go home. I got to walk to school every day on this ankle. You driving a Cadillac with 4 different color hubcaps on it. Coach nobody. Anyway, if you're up and around, appreciate that, fellas. If you're up and around, you're out and about, and you want to give us a shout, the number to call is area code 267-687-0026. Once again, the number to call is area code 267-687-0026. All right, fellas, let's dive into this other one. It's the main course, the corona effect. We all know what's going on with this coronavirus and the outbreak, and allegedly, quote unquote, it's a new strain. Even though you can look at the back of a Lysol cane and you see that the coronavirus, that's the name on the back of the cane. But anyway, I don't know what I'm saying. The coronavirus reportedly has infected more than 106,000 people, has killed more than 3,500 people. And as of last Saturday, at least 387 cases in the U.S. alone, with 19 deaths and climbing. Brother Rich, briefly, what's with this coronavirus, man?
Well, I think that's yet to be determined. And here's what we mean by that. We're looking at the responses of government and medical personnel and their varied points of views on this. Some people are comparing it to a virus that is similar to the common, the seasonal flu. We're hearing those kind of reports, but we're hearing other people say that if you are elderly, if you are somehow health constrained, you are at risk for this. The question that I have from a sports context is, with all of these venues supposedly canceling events,
right,
asking the players themselves to perform, we got to ask ourselves, is it so are we actually admitting now, are we ready to get to the point where we're admitting that these players are not individuals, they're just performing a function for us to entertain us, and we don't care about their personal health and their well-being. They can go ahead and perform the entertainment for us, and we, the owners, we benefit by the because the only reason they have to continue to play is for the television contracts, not for their own health or their interaction with each other or who they interact with. So if we're talking about limiting community spread, they're a community. What about their own community?
Exactly.
So if we're talking about pausing things, pause everything. If we're going to be honest that this is about human beings, but we know this is not about human welfare. This is about the first thing you hear about everybody with coronavirus. Every community is talking about how this affects the economy.
Exactly.
And we're getting a chance to see that this is a world that puts profit over persons. So we all looking at it right now. So that's what's up with the coronavirus.
Yeah, and they being exposed for the hypocrisy or the hypocrites that they are. The chicken's coming home to roost is what I say.
Fact.
You know what I mean? Jew, you want to say something on this tip right here? Do you know anybody? Not know anybody, but you go ahead. What were you gonna say?
No, I don't. I pass on. I don't know too much about it. I just watch it on the news, but that's propaganda. So
yeah, exactly.
I admire what Brother Rich said. He got me thinking though over here. I ain't think about it like a prophet. And they trying to fulfill the contract of the
exactly
the TV station. So I didn't think about it like
that.
Yeah. I thought it was just something they just added on to it, just or something we gonna fear tactic.
Yeah, and that's what that's
see how much we can fear,
Yeah, scare tactics. And there's a lot of that going on too. But at the end of the day, it all comes back to everything you seeing on TV, everything you read in the newspaper, anything that you watch on a TV show. I don't care however you getting the information in regards to this thing, trust and believe it all points back to one thing, 2 words for you. And Brother Rich kind of alluded to it. The bottom line. The bottom line. Double J, have your say.
Fact.
Well, we can't underestimate the severity of it. Again, that can be echoed worldwide. In terms of just kind of touching on this on the surface for what it's worth, I know, as Brother Rich pointed out, referring to it as similar in context and nature to the common flu or seasonal flu. One of the key differences here is, simply put, we don't really have, all of us have faith in modern medicine, but at the same time, the fact of the matter is, presently, we don't have enough kits to test everyone, let alone the same way we can get a flu shot. We're not there yet to be able to arm each and every one of us with something of that magnitude that can have that type of impact. And so presently, that's why you're witnessing, these extremes taking place, because again, many are kind of relating that this could be arguably worse than the Spanish flu. I believe that was 1918.
The bubonic plague or something like that too.
Agreed. And so, when you look at it now from the sports landscape, what you're seeing globally is really the same thing. So, these Champions League games in Europe that has been ravaged, you're seeing the teams in Italy where otherwise you are virtually quarantined, where you can only go to and from work or to get medical, needs. So again, you really have to be on your P's and Q's to make sure that you're complying. But the soccer teams, on the other hand, are full go. So matter of fact, Atalanta today was in Spain, and I believe another team will be playing in England tomorrow. And so, to Brother Rich's point, as they say, you can look at it two ways here. Either the show must go on, or, hey, guys, we're going to lose way too much money if we don't comply with what's on what we signed here.
Interesting. Gully,
but,
what?
Again, what it takes away from is the element that these players are, as much as we like to, fantasize them as kind of robots or
larger than life, so to speak.
As soon as the game starts off, exactly.
Yeah.
They are human. They have families, and they are just as susceptible to this as we are. So the fact that you're going to, kind of put them in the midst of all of this by having them, it still blows my mind that we're talking about autograph signings and buy this ticket, meet this player. You are literally throwing them in harm's way.
Mm-hmm.
And why, as you pointed out,
the bottom line.
I'll quote P. Diddy, all about the vengeance.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, and the movie with Mike Epps and Ice Cube, all about them Benji Mannies. Gully, what say you, man, on all of this?
Just found a Dallas rapper to say something to him.
Oh, my gosh, man. Can we have a serious moment? We're trying to, enlighten the people and inform the 5 or 6 people that listen to us, man. Can you let them have a moment, would you? My gosh. This Rented Mule Association thing is going to your head. Gully, what say you about all of this, man? And if you say something about Dallas, I'm sending you down there with that ugly logo, the L.A. Chargers. Let's go, Chargers. I know y'all don't remember Arnold Schwarzenegger did that at the game. But anyway, go ahead, man. You know what I'm saying, Drew? I got to deal with this madness.
I feel like I think there's not enough certainty about it to match the I think in some cases overzealous precautions that people are taking and governments are taking. Hold
on. Let me interrupt you. Hold your thought. It's the way you started off. Are you sounding to me like you sitting in a big back chair with a smoker's jacket on and a fireplace behind you? Good over there? What's that? Or are you on the front porch?
Yeah, I mean, I think
Right.
It's a very serious disease, as is any. And yes, definitely there is a increase in people being diagnosed. But I think we are seeing what looks like worldwide panic for something that I have not yet seen where the panic should be. Here's what I mean by that. By and large, we have for some people who have tragically lost their lives, but we can reasonably say in the U.S., it seems like they are prepared with a response, with a way to handle it without overreacting. I think the hysteria is a revenue generator for those who create the hysteria. So I think Brother Richard talked about the media. You know, there's a lot of news to be made by having coronavirus scares. A lot of information's gone home to students from their schools about the coronavirus, which is something that I don't really think people really have a handle on. People have a better handle on what a flu outbreak would be and how effective, how serious a flu outbreak would be, and that's something that I think can resonate with people. I don't understand what the coronavirus is and how effective or how serious it could be, but I'm supposed to have this scare, and it doesn't match. You follow? If I'm making my point
yeah,
clear,
I got you.
I don't know enough about the virus itself to be this scared, but the machine is already going, and we're going to respond to it accordingly.
Yes, almost like somebody making a statement about something, but it's not based on nothing. You know what I mean? This is that. So people just react. This is mass hysteria. But let me say something to you right quick about medicine in general. We've all seen the commercials. I'm not going to name no names, because Big Pharma is big. I'm going to tell you that right off the rip. You and I know that firsthand, Gully. I was telling Brother Rich and Double J before we went on the air here about the company we used to work for. We won't mention no names here, right? But have you ever noticed, not have you ever noticed, I'm sure you have noticed, that when you see the big brand commercials promoting some sort of pill or some sort of something, do you have trouble going to the bathroom? Take whatever, right? And in the midst of all of that, they also give you, towards the end, what the side effects could be. So if you weigh the side effects, whatever it is that ails you, if you see this commercial, you be like, oh, I think I'll ask my doctor about that. But if you weigh the side effects, you pay attention, you weigh the side effects against what you're dealing with, you might as well, you'd be better off dealing with what you're dealing with. Oh, if you got this, be sure to let your doctor know, because this can make you bleed from the inside. You know what I'm saying? If if you're not, you could go blind in your left eye. My gosh, who wants to take something like that? I got to take this to fix that, but in turn, what else will happen as a result of me taking this? So how is something supposed to help me could increase my chances of me being hurt more, so to speak? Does that make sense? Exactly. Let me mention to you all a few things that at the time I put these, notes together or whatnot, because I'm sure it's been a couple days ago now, so things have increased even more. But some of the sporting events that are at the time were shut down or being canceled and so on and so forth. And then there's a few things I added in here that I think I'd like for us all to kind of chew on. The BNP Paribas, that's Boy Nancy Paul Paribas Open, it's a tennis tournament, that was canceled. Then one of my favorite sports, most people don't consider it a sport, but I do, and I'll save that for another show, explaining to you why it is a sport, Formula One racing. The Chinese Grand Prix was postponed, and the Bahrain, and this is the first thing that made me let me put that down, jot that down. Bahrain, the Bahrain Grand Prix. They said they will have the race, but there will be no spectators. Now that's what I thought was interesting. That speaks even more to Brother Richard's point about we don't care nothing about the person performing the entertainment, right? You're going to have a race with no spectators? Does that seem fathomable to anybody here? I didn't think so. Then, as Double J mentioned, and he only gave a brief mention, but when I looked at this, it was too many of them to name. That's why I said the list for soccer matches canceled or postponed is too long to name them all at the time. My gosh, I'm looking at this and I'm scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. If I'm not mistaken, Brother Rich or Double J, you all are my soccer aficionados here. Wasn't the UEFA, some of the UEFA league stuff canceled too?
Not canceled, but being played behind closed doors.
Okay.
Behind closed doors.
Yeah, might as well be canceled. But also on the NCAA side of things, on the men's hoop side, Chicago State University and the University of Missouri at Kansas City both dropped games from their conference tournaments. They're not playing at all, which I thought was very, very interesting because that's what all of them should do. If I'm not, that's what you were alluding to, right, Brother Rich?
Well, if you're saying the virus affects people,
hold it, Double J. Go ahead, let Brother Rich speak. Go ahead, Brother Rich.
No, I was just responding in the affirmative. Yes, that's what I'm saying. If they're concerned about people catching this virus, what the athletes are not people, they got to come.
Exactly.
They got to interact with people.
Yeah.
Come on now.
Yeah. Go ahead, Double.
Let me give you the counter to that.
Okay.
Because not everybody sees eye to eye with you guys beyond the and not just you would think it would be the ownership, etc. The Ivy League canceled their conference tournament, giving the auto bid to their regular season champions. So
wow, that's something new. I didn't even see that.
Why? But here's why they could do it. Let's respond to that.
Hold on.
Why the Ivy League could do it?
Hold on, Brother Rich. Double J, were you finished?
I did want to say that both the 10 men's and women's coaches were appalled and furious that was the result.
Wow. Go ahead, Brother Rich.
And I'm only going to say this. The reason they could do it is because the Ivy League has endowments that they don't really need that. That's not what they're doing that.
Got you.
They endowments cover that. The rest of these leagues, they're doing it for
they need the money. Or not need the money, but
television rights. They need the money.
Got you. And I say need loosely in that case because they millions and billions. Right. Jew, let me ask you a question. You know, you being more the athlete and because you still hoop.
Yeah, I'm great.
Yeah, okay. So you still up to date on the athletic scene and competition thing. Man, give me your take, man. If you let's say you played at Duke or Kentucky or I don't know, Wichita State or whatever the case may be, and this thing jumped off, would you want to play? Especially let's say you would.
No, I wouldn't want to play. No, I wouldn't want to play. If it's for our safety, like you said, like Brother Rich and Double J said, if it's all in all, for safety, let it be safety. Then shut it down.
Right.
And let's get a handle on it.
Right.
But, the money talk and big money. Big money tell little money what to do.
Yeah. Big money big bank take little bank. Right. Yeah. Got you. Gully, what say you about what say you?
Canceling games and defaulting the champion and not letting them play, but then automatically allowing a team to go to a tournament to then continue to expose themselves to the sickness sort of is asinine if you ask me. But I guess the game must go on, and I guess they're proving that.
Yeah, they're proving it all right. Faux pas.
Exactly.
In the very first league that I saw to do what I'm getting ready to mention next was the NHL. Hockey was the first sports entity, that closed their dressing rooms to the media. So now, again, to Brother Richard's point, see, the big bank is exposing itself. That's what they're doing. You won't let the media in, right? Because who's going to tell your story? Am I wrong here, Brother Rich? I mean, am I missing something here? Isn't that when the players play?
Not at all.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Don't the sports writers and somebody got to write about the game-winning shot or the game-winning block or
somebody has to open the arena. They got
somebody
got to be there.
Thank you.
They got people that are there.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. You know, and again, at the time I was putting this all together, the NHL was the only one I saw to have done this. Now, since then, a couple of days ago, because this thing is moving like rapid fire. The NFL done it. The NBA is closing off the, media access and so on and so forth. So I'm just trying to understand, man. You're not allowing no spectators in a lot of cases since this thing didn't hit, right? COVID-19, I think is what the -19 is what they call it. No, yeah, COVID, did I say? Yeah, -19, yeah, is what they calling this new strain. No media access, and all the other outliers or outstanders, so to speak, we don't want y'all. But you letting them, so why are can somebody help me out? All the other things that are intertwined with why we even watch or go to, you're dismissing or doing away with in this instance, temporarily or whatever, but you're still going to put on the show. Who you putting on the show for?
That's why LeBron had to walk it back, because initially that's what he said. I don't want to play no game in front if there are no fans. And then his corporate sponsorship in the league made him walk it back and say, oh, I'll do it. Because why? He has to play. They know that they play for the fans. That's what it's supposed to be about. But now we know it's not about the fans. It's about the corporate sponsorship, the owners. This is about this. Now let me ask you. I'll make this point and move on from this. Listen to this. Do you know who the first people to be bailed out with this coronavirus thing is? The first people the government are getting ready to bail out are the cruise lines, who are already owned by multi-billionaires, the airlines who are owned by multi-billionaire corporations, not the individuals, not the sick people they're stranded, stuck on ships, got to go to quarantine, going to lose their jobs, some of them. But they're not, nobody's talking about them.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's bad all the way around, man. Y'all making themselves look bad. They're making themselves, even to the blind folk ordinarily, or the folks who show a willful ignorance, in which many cases I say is an affliction for which there is no cure. Even they see, because this is too obvious. You know what I mean? And I mean, at some point, like my man Jamie Foxx, when he played in the movie Ray, and the dude was counting his money, he said, "Nah, man," he jumped across the table. I ain't got to see it to know you shorting me. You know what I'm saying? I just know. Man, no, I can, no, man. It's $2. You missing $5 here. Dude, like, what? Yeah, man, yeah. You gonna try to play me because I can't see it? Guess what? See these hands. See these hands, Joe. He jumped all on that boy, didn't he, Joe? Ah! Yeah.
Hey, but you know what, guys? Let's think about this for a moment. 21 years ago, something happened in front of a captive audience, or non-captive audience. During the halftime of the Super Bowl, the WWF at the time decided to run an airing of of a show, and it was a live show. It was called Halftime Heat. The feature match of Halftime Heat was the WWF World Title match between The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, and Mankind, in which, for the wrestling fans out there, Mankind won by pinning The Rock using a pallet jack. The point was, it was an empty arena match that actually garnered, I want to say, 1 million views. It had very high viewership, having no audience in what is traditionally a live audience event. It's live theater, sports entertainment. That was 21 years ago. Fast forward now, we have home theater systems, and I just built a gaming PC, and I've got a heck of a display for it, if I may say so myself. But we have the rise of the home entertainment system, 65, 70, 95-inch screens with amazing Ultra 7.1 Dolby sound. So when we talk about the big game and the big events, the big boxing match, the big UFC match, the big wrestling event, the big playoff games, a lot of people can have really great, wholesome experiences at home.
Yeah, but here's the deal, though.
If the game is live,
yeah, but
and you're enjoying it better at home, what if this isn't sort of an opportunity for social experiment, and the NBA is taking advantage of that?
No, because the NBA done already said in the next coming days they're getting ready to have a sit down with the CDC and a whole bunch of other folks to try to figure out how they listen. There's a reason why they build arenas. I get what you're saying, but in that instance, there was no panic about a pandemic or epidemic of any kind. You see what I'm saying? So it was like a let's try this and see. And then wrestling in and of itself is almost like soccer on the other side of the spectrum. They gonna get what they get anyway because it's a big deal. Wrestling is, but in this case, there are a lot of you going. Okay, let's say you're the fan and you're sitting at home in front of your big 99,000-inch TV screen or whatever it is, and you're a fan of Wichita State. But Wichita State is one of them schools that said they not playing, they players are not playing. So now what? You still might be a fan of basketball or football or whatever it is that your favorite school is, but you're not, if your school is your favorite school, I know people whose favorite schools, if their favorite schools ain't in it, they ain't watching it.
Yo.
See what I'm saying?
That's true.
Wrestling fans gonna watch wrestling. You see what I mean? But everybody is a fan of basketball more so because they team be in it. If your team ain't in it,
but you almost argued my point though.
But if your favorite,
if your team not in it, right? You listen. That's the essence of March Madness. Your bracket gets busted, but you're still watching it till the end.
No. I'm
Wichita State. Who has Wichita State in the Sweet 16?
No, this is what I'm telling you.
8 years ago.
This is what I'm saying to you. Okay, that's in an organic fashion. I'm with you. But if your team, let's say your team before this outbreak or whatever it is, the first couple games in your conference tournament was played and your team was in it. But now your team, the school said, we not playing we in the conference championship and we not playing. You ain't watching. This is in other words, the reasons why or the variables of why a fan's team ain't in it or not playing in this instance are a whole lot more. The scenario is different than then. You get what I'm saying? It's a whole lot different. This is ugly. This is ugly. You get me? A lot of folk, they I don't know, if you just bought your TV that day, you probably gonna spend more time washing your hands than you was watching TV because you concerned about that you might done caught something. You know what I mean? This not this don't.
You know what else you're forgetting?
I'm serious. Go ahead. Hold on, brother Double J. I think you was getting ready to say something. Then Brother Rich, hold your thought. Go ahead, and then you can weigh in. Go ahead, Double J.
Here's what we're often forgetting is that the gambling revenue and just the amount of money in that reiterates the need. So as of tomorrow, it becomes legal here in Michigan.
Yeah,
so,
I saw that.
Again, you can gamble off of an app on your phone now. So you don't have to leave the house. You can as long as that game is taking place and there is a camera showing the action, there is no way. And also, we talked about both the NBA and we talked about soccer, specifically with soccer, who tomorrow's game between PSG and as well as Barcelona and Napoli, even though they're taking place, the games are happening in France and in Spain. Both of those games are going to be played behind closed doors, but with the cameras rolling. Why? Because there is a ton of gambling money, and it's a worldwide game. There's too much TV revenue that they're missing out on, that they would be missing out on. So, again, the leagues, the teams win, and then also, again, the gambling money. So the casinos win.
Yeah, so, yeah. Okay, but see, I'm with you.
They could care less about the fans. I'm telling you right now, that's why you could have a 90,000 seat venue empty, because they're the millions of dollars they would generate from ad revenue and from gambling money is well worth it to them.
Okay, so again, let me switch it. Let me say it this way, and I know I'm being figurative here. Let's say you're a fan of Kentucky, and they're number 1 seed, but the powers that be at Kentucky say we're more concerned about our players getting the coronavirus and spreading it to our campus and all the other thousands of people to go to our campus. We're not playing. Now what? If you had filled a bracket out.
They won't do it. They won't do it.
You don't think so? Because here's the deal. Let me say this to you.
No, because again, what the source of it all, the money. That's why the same greedy NCAA entity has said, we don't care if it was a pandemic here. We're going to we'll fill this to capacity and standing room only, and everybody can cough on each other and shake hands.
Yeah. Brother Rich, what were you going to say?
The only response I was going to give to what Gully was saying was this. Look at it from this point of view if you're an athlete. If you're the athlete and you're being asked to literally perform where you understand, all of us that appreciate sports understand that, yes, if you played sports growing up, if you were engaged in any kind of competitive sport, when an audience or crowd or you're performing on stage or you're doing whatever it is that you do for a living or for enjoyment, there's a different element of excitement, engagement, passion, if you will, involved when you're doing it in front of a live audience. So there's an element of the game that we watch on television. Yes, we enjoy it because we made a decision not to go to the game. But when I want to watch the game, part of what I'm watching is how the player interacts with the audience, how they interact with him, how he responds on the quote-unquote big stage. This is why we have things. This is why they build arenas. So you're asking the players now to perform their function, if you will, like a pickup game, just in the open gym run. We just, hey, come on, Lakers, Clippers, meet me down at the Staples Center. We're just going to have a game.
Right.
But we're going to have a camera there to record it. No audience, no fans, no this,
yeah,
no
it seems.
That's what you're saying. So
it seems incongruent to a certain degree. And I didn't mean to cut you off, Brother Rich, because you said something there that made me want to hit to my next point. You know, that there are various Hollywood and media events that were even canceled or postponed. I don't know, man. I get it, the bottom line, but guess what, though? If this thing, if this thing take out a couple more people, because you know folks is dying from that, that betting, and I know all too well about the bottom line, but yeah, okay. I mean, I'm just saying, let this thing really, because again, in China, for instance, and here's the 5 seconds off sports, so to speak, 70 people in China were trapped when a hotel used for quarantine victims collapsed. Do you all think that's coincidence? Yes or no?
Absolutely not.
Okay. All right. Schools are closing, right? And here's the thing that I found rather interesting. There's some serious talk, even from the CDC. Now, I might not have this exact verbatim or whatnot, but they're talking about the 2020 Olympics might be canceled. So and the Olympics don't start to what, June or July? So are they?
Yes, but keep in mind as well that they've already canceled the torch. You know how they light the torch.
Yeah, the opening ceremony.
That is close. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so see now that raises another question. If the Olympics don't, the Olympics is a big deal, right? Because it only comes once every 4 years. So if they can't already cancel the torch lighting ceremony, and the Olympics don't start to let's say June or July, we're in March. So what's going on that they're already projecting that this thing is going to be worse than what it is now? It's already worse today, and today is the 10th. When did this corona thing first break? So roughly, maybe a week ago now? And it's gotten progressively worse in a week's time? Hey, I'm with you all on the bottom line. But we all know that bottom line can be hit. Matter of fact, let's go back a few years, maybe a few more years than most can remember. And I'm surprised I ain't have a senior moment, so let me get it out before I have one. When the NFL tried to, but when the country was going through a recession. Even the NFL, now they didn't lose what you and I would have lost as the common man. But if I'm not mistaken, man, I wish Herm was on this one. Herm, if you're listening, call in, please. The NFL lost a lot of money. Now, they were still in the green, of course. They were still on the plus side of things. But in other words, if they was used to making however many $10 billion a year, they was down to about $4 billion. I'm just trying to draw a parallel here. Like, look, if this thing get too out of hand, even the bottom line can be affected, is what I'm driving at. I just found that rather interesting. And what I don't see enough in the little sports outlets and medias and so on and so forth is more discussion about the Olympics. I saw it once or twice, and then boom, boom, boom. I ain't seen it yet. Now, maybe I missed something. Sometimes I don't always have my glasses on. I don't. But they saying that they already done canceled it, and we still 3-4 months away from the Olympics, and they already shutting aspects down. Okay. But I'm with you, Double J. Big betting is big business, especially that they made the thing legal. And well, they didn't make it legal everywhere yet. Did they? Yeah, they made this legal a while back. Or was it legal just they made it legal in Vegas? No. Yeah.
It's legal in the country.
Yeah, that's right.
Gambling, you talking about?
Yeah, it's legal. Yeah, it's legal. It's legal.
Gambling is going to be legal in the country, yeah.
But I'm if they can project, if the big wigs can project that the Olympics might be canceled, quote unquote, then Barbershop Jay right here today is going to project that if anything can hit the bottom line and put a severe dent in it, it's the coronavirus, in particular, or to be more specific, as the little kids might say, the COVID-19. You understand what I mean? Yeah. I'm just saying. You know what I mean? I'm just saying. But let me ask you all this. Is there anything that you can think of that has not been affected at this point, Gully?
Please clarify what you mean.
Is there anything that you can think of that has not been affected by the coronavirus so far? Whether it's sports, social.
Well, sports venues, yeah, because most recently this past weekend we had the Arnold Classic.
Was that Arnold in the background? That sounded like Arnold. Rocker. Sounded to me like somebody bogeyed on the back nine. Is that what you're talking about? The Arnold, excuse me, the Arnold Classic.
The Arnold.
Arnold.
The Arnold Classic.
Yeah, Arnold did. Arnold didn't sound too happy. About that bogey.
No, he didn't. Yeah, and we had the Arnold Classic here, and due to the concerns, they changed a lot of the setup for a lot of events. Some of the public displays, some of the public competitions were left. We're still went on without an audience. A lot of the revenue that was anticipated from the local establishments, the diners, the bars, or what have you, that they anticipated, based on last year, based on their history, of course, were greatly affected because since they had no captive audience, they didn't have the revenue. So it definitely affected social gatherings for sure. It does definitely have an impact.
Well, I'm glad you brought golf up, but I was saying anything has not could you think of anything has not been affected? But I didn't know about the golf thing.
I don't
see. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. What about
you? If anything has not been affected.
What about you, Brother Rich? This corona thing seemed to done touch every part of everywhere. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And I mean more so than the sports world because
student loans. Except student loans.
Oh yeah, well we
and the Dallas Cowboys fortune.
See what I'm saying? Jew, you see what I got to deal with, man? Jew, hey, man. Man, we got to have a conversation after this. Brother Richard, you're fired. You know what I'm saying? Like my man, not my man, but like, The Apprentice. Well, ain't that what the show was? The Apprentice would say? You've been denied, although you tried. You know what I'm saying? Somebody should have lied. Instead, y'all cried. Oh, okay, I know. They tell me all the time at work I'm fried. But anyway, Double J, can you think of anything that has not been affected off the top of your head by the coronio? Oh, and then let me say this right.
Yes,
Hold that thought. Let me get this out right quick. Do you know how many people have? I feel bad for the. Well, I don't literally because I don't drink anymore. But the but the Corona beer people. Oh my gosh, they're taking a beating right now. You know what I'm saying? So these folks ain't even drinking Corona beer because of the coronavirus. But go ahead, Double J.
Well, what hasn't been affected is the toilet paper sales in the U.S.
That's my fault, right? I had to ask, right? Yeesh. The toilet paper sales. Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. Yeah, got you. Oh, I guess that's when I said you can think of anything, you thought of something, right? But even the stock market. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, the feds have dropped the interest rate. Gas prices have dropped. Man, we went, Brother Rich, how much is a gallon of gas out in California? 25,000?
Almost.
Yeah, I mean, because I saw
$4.
Well, I will say this: gas prices are actually going to come down, so they're under $2 in Michigan already. If you weren't aware, they couldn't. Essentially, the central bank of oil couldn't come to an agreement with Russia. Why? Because when you're quarantining all these people, the demand is substantially down, and so that's some encouraging news. And also, I would say that the price of gold is going to continue to increase here. So if you are a day trader, that's some, there's your nugget for you.
Yeah,
no pun intended.
What if you're in this Forex trading thing? Is that affected? Because I noticed the Dow Jones and all of that stuff. The stock market has been up and down like crazy. You know much about the Forex trading?
Well, that's just it. People are right now. You think about it. Pretty soon here, we're going to be asked not to use the traditional currency or coins or dollar bills.
Right.
We're going to be encouraged to use our digital forms of currency.
Yeah.
Because again, when you think of viruses or anything, just bacteria in general, when you're going hand to hand, and we know that how many people can touch a single bill in any given day.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So, in all honesty, when you talk about the trading options like that in virtual currencies, they're actually, despite being pretty volatile as is, people are kind of getting inclined to invest in them simply because we're trending that way. The worse this potential pandemic continues to get.
And when you say digital, it's a restaurant here in Cleveland where they don't even take cash. It's all like plastic. And I guess it's like one of the first of its kind or whatnot. Now, the restaurant itself, this is one of their many Brother Rich, Gully, y'all know Angie's Soul Food? No?
I don't.
Yeah, I'm familiar.
Yeah, well, I know Gully
I'm
is.
with Angie's.
Yeah. They got a couple of locations, but this is the one they opened. They just opened one up on Carnegie a few months ago. And it's all credit or card or something or another. There's no cash from my understanding. But, Brother Rich, I was asking you about the gas prices out there in Cali because I saw some footage. Seemed like it was a lot of folks riding big wheels, man. What's going on? I figured y'all was still, they said the prices.
We're trying to be like Dallas. We're trying to be like y'all in Dallas.
Well,
we heard everything.
No, they got.
Dallas, so we're trying to
they got green machines in Dallas. You better step your game up, buddy. Big wheels, the once the front wheel.
Gas prices are still crazy out here, but we're glad to see that they're dropping finally.
Oh well, that's good. That's a good thing too. At the end of the day, who knows how long this thing will go on. This Corona, if the panic will increase, decrease. I guess we just got to wait and see But in the meantime, I'm just advising folks to just please wash their hands, if nothing else. I'm not saying I'm an authority on the subject or whatnot, but while in college, many, many moons ago, I took a class. Don't ask me to spell it. It's called epidemiology, and it's the study of communicable diseases. And you'd be surprised. I'm glad I took the class because it helped to debunk a lot of myths about communicable diseases, okay? And my professor at the time...
Please indulge. Name one.
What? Never.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Please indulge, like a myth that you said. You said it helped to debunk a lot of myths. If you could recall, like one myth that people don't know, if you can, because this is fascinating.
Right. Yeah, I'm having a senior moment. At the time, my professor was the leading researcher for HIV and AIDS, and she discussed how, and the ways, of course, in which you can catch it, and what primarily was through needles, and of course, physical contact and ways we won't mention here on the program or whatnot. But, at the time, there was some talk about how long it can survive outside of the body and what methods you use to, disinfect and things of that nature. If I'm not mistaken, at the time I said they think it could survive outside of the body for like up to a half hour or hour. And she said, no, that's not true. When you cleaning it up or whatever, or if you come in contact, like on hard surfaces or whatever the case may be, people who have, with it have been around or whatnot, you use bleach, not, no sprays and so on and so forth. You had to actually use bleach. I forget. It was a couple of other things that she mentioned. But the idea was, she said, believe it or not, a lot of the communicable and contractable stuff that we deal with in the country, even back then, because, again, I was in college, 1785? It's been a while. Actually, it was Paul Revere took my spot. I was still asleep. He got on the horse. Anyway, yeah. But at the time, the idea was, and her sole message was, she said, wash your hands. And in washing your hands, some people do the alphabet thing, A, B, C, D. I guess you could do all of that. 20 seconds, I guess you could do all of that too. Me, I go 3, 4, 5 times around. She said, but more important than, she said, not more important than washing your hands. She said, washing your hands definitely is important. She said, you'd be surprised how much you can prevent by doing so. She said, but just as important and what's critical, when you're washing your hands, she said, to get up under your nails. Now, how many people do that? Or how many people go to the public restroom, they'll wash their hands and then touch the paper towel dispenser with the palm of their hands. She said, if you're going to do anything with your hands and you're in a public place, she said, always either do so. She recommended elbow, right? She said, but if you just got to, she said, use the back of your hand. Or hit the paper towel dispenser with your elbow, snatch off a sleeve or whatever, a sliver, and then hit the sink knob with that or whatnot. Or, you could take I don't know if y'all want to go to this extent, but like the wipes or whatever, cap your little baggie with the wipes in them and wipe your little stuff down. And then she said, but even still, there are precautions you can take. She said, but people so underestimate getting under your nails when you're washing your hands. Believe it or not. She said, you can wash your hands, but if you have stuff under your nails and you touch your eye, your mouth, or whatever it is is in there, you're gonna get it, right? Because it's as simple as a sneeze. Somebody don't, and when she said, when you sneeze and you go to cover for a sneeze, put your nose in the crease of your elbow. Don't use your hand. Close your fist. None of that. In the crease of your elbow. She said, because if you cough, right? She said, you don't even have to have a cold, but if you cough, and let's just say you didn't have a cold, but you had something, it's an airborne thing within the cough, and you cough on the surface. Somebody come behind you, she said, because a cough can last outside the body on a hard surface longer than what the HIV and all that stuff could, is what she was getting at. She said, somebody come 20, 30 minutes and touch that same spot and touch their eye, now they sick. Just like that. Communicable, of course, means somebody coughed on something or sneezed, or the pathogens, if I'm saying that right, that were when you sneezed and got out in the air, landed on something, and somebody come behind and touch it, and therefore, she said that's the biggest way folks get sick. So when you're washing your hands, please please, please, please get under your nails, you know. And I'm not going to say the guy's name, but I've watched many of people, grown folk now, you would think have home training. I'm in the bathroom washing my hands, and there's folks behind me in the stalls peeling the paint off the walls. One dude was in there and the stall walls buckled. Dude gonna get right up, roll right out past me. And I was like, what? Oh, man, you ain't gonna wash your hands? Then 20 minutes later, I'm like, hey, Jay, what's up, man? Man, I wish you would, man. You catch a teeth clicker, boy. All your chicklets be on the floor. Back up off me, son.
Listen, I've seen that, and this is why I don't really do buffets anymore. Especially like I really
oh my gosh, I stopped doing buffets in 1895.
Because I seen that. Like I remember I was going to a buffet and I seen a guy. I came in, I washed my hands before I used the restroom, and I stood up, you know, and he had to sit down to take care of his business, and he did so, and he flushed and walked right out. The only thing that I could hope for is that he didn't even bother to cleanse himself from there. You follow what I'm saying?
Right.
Because at that point, that's the only hope we got. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I agree exactly what you're saying, man.
And then lastly, before we get out of here, and gentlemen, I appreciate, the discussion that we had here today. I think it was very informative, but then who am I? Do you all think, and Brother Rich, we'll come to you last, because you're my community activist here. You know what I'm saying? I know you're going to probably have a lot of in-depth on this one right here. Double J, we'll start with you, actually. Is the upcoming election and the timing of this COVID-19, is it just coincidence, in your opinion?
Well, you would certainly hope that the powers that be and those that have the possibility to even make something like this remotely realistic wouldn't go to such lengths or measures to remain in control, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
However, the timing is a little
interesting.
Coincidence. But with that being said, the two candidates that remain have both canceled their upcoming rally.
Mm.
So, in some respects, you could say, well, that it could hurt them as well. But just generally speaking, it is, as they say, because, the saying goes, timing is everything.
Yeah. And I don't know how true this is, but I saw, before we came on the air this evening, I saw a report. Again, let me reiterate or let me emphasize or re-emphasize. I don't know how true this is, but apparently, and I don't know the gentleman's name, but some guy who holds a position in regards to this president and the presidency or whatever the case may be, shook the president's hand, and it was the same guy, and he was diagnosed, or am I saying diagnosed? He's known to have the virus. It said he has the corona or whatever, or he was exposed to it or something or another to that effect. You all can look it up to be more specific. But this guy, whoever he is, holds some sort of position. It was exposed to it or has it or something or another, shook the president's hand, and was also on Air Force One. Gully, we come to you. So let me re-ask the question. Is the virus and the upcoming election a coincidence? The timing? Or am I just pulling hyperboles and so on and so forth out the air?
I don't think it was intentional, but it certainly is convenient.
Yeah.
Because and I think if we look at the momentum, especially on the Democratic side, if we look at the momentum that one candidate had prior to the events of the last couple of weeks, it was a perfect storm of things that takes away that candidate's momentum. My thought though is that those who think this is convenient for the new front runner, I think they're going to be sorely mistaken, because I believe that in November, when it matters most, the guy that should have been there won't be there, and we'll get 4 more years of what we've been currently getting. Because the guy that should have been there is again not there, just like what happened in 2016. Now I'll let you guys figure out who and what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm. Interesting, Jew. I'm not going to even ask you because I know you're gonna be salty and you're gonna clock out on somebody. But I mean, if you want to answer, you can. But yeah.
Nah. I like the answers. You know, in perspective. I'm enjoying. It got me thinking though. But go ahead.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. And just for the record, my man Jew is a mild mannered dude, for real. But he one of them type of dudes, man. You press that wrong button. I don't know if y'all remember that show used to come on. But well, y'all probably some of y'all ain't old enough. But on the panel, y'all should be. The Hawk and on the promo in the begin, dude say, "Man, don't make me angry, Mr. Green. You're not going to like me when I'm angry." You know what I'm saying? Mr. Bill Bixby, that's my man. Juke Bixby over there, baby. Brother Richard, last but not least, we come to you. Is this a coincidence? The COV-19 and the timing of with the upcoming election.
Well, I'm going to use an analogy using fire. And I must say that some of us know that sometimes you can start a fire intentionally, but the fire can get out of control. And sometimes it might get out of your own control. So, no, I don't believe, and many of us don't believe this was some accident. We believe that, in fact and indeed, there is a trade war going on with China prior to this happening, that America and China were already locked in some kind of conversation between their leadership and our own. And so some wondered about the inconvenience of China's one of its largest manufacturing districts being hit with something like this. And we know that today they can manufacture. We understand this, that they can manufacture things. So it looks like this may have been a circumstance that something that may have been in the air got out of control. And with all of the travel and all of the people going to and fro, part of it, the reason why it spread in Italian culture so quickly is because their culture is one of affinity and closeness and kissing and hugging. And so when in those kind of cultures, you have a lot of spread. So the question becomes, were they able to conveniently use it to dislodge something or a campaign that was, as Gully was pointing out to, that was gaining tremendous momentum among young people and among the vibrant people and the people who wanted a different kind of change? Yes, no doubt indeed, they were able to do that and cancel some events and do this and so yeah, no doubt about it. They have decided and to do with it as they will, but they have to be careful because something like this, because of its propensity to just catch like wildfire and replicate itself so quickly, you got to be careful about it going a little bit out of your control.
Indeed. Fellas, and lastly, I'll say this. Brother Rich, you and I know this guy. I won't mention his name, but I was just at the shop earlier, and he just come back from Atlanta. He said he flew. You know, he said he had the mask and everything on. He said he wasn't touching no rails, none of that kind of stuff, right? He said, well, you know, Atlanta's airport is, I mean, my goodness. It's got to be probably one of the largest in the country, right? He said, and he just threw a number out there, not literally. He said, man,
if it was the largest in the country.
Oh, is it? Okay, well, there it is. He said, man, if it was 8,000 people in that airport the day I landed and was going through there, he said 3,000 of them had on masks and gloves. I said, wow. Yeah, it's doggone serious. Fellas, I appreciate everybody's insight today. Jew, especially you coming to join us on the P-Rogram. Fellas, as always, I appreciate y'all. And on that note, it's been fun, but we got to run. We appreciate y'all for listening. Don't forget to check us out right here on the Spreaker.com network. You go to Spreaker, to the search box, and type in the shop report. And please, while you're there, give us a subscribe, would you please? Or you can check us out on Facebook, Twitter, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcast and give us a follow. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. You can drop us your comments, suggestions, and whatnot via email to shopreport365@gmail.com. And if that don't work, Google it. For my mans be rich, Double J, D Gully, DJ Jew, and all those who follow and support us, we say thank you. I'm Barbershop J, and you've been listening to the Shop Report. And remember, the next time y'all want to know what's really going on, man, come to the shop. Walk-ins are always welcome. Holla.